So guys, 2027 will be hot as the Tinubu's government plans to set up a delegation to go to the USA over the buying of Christians in Nigeria. This video has been circulating since yesterday and it has gone so viral. This was the moment Peter Obi was demanding Tinubu's clear his name on his identity. Many Nigerians have said this is one of the reasons why Tinubu does not want to go to the United States. Now, Akpabio said he's going to be setting up a delegation to go to the US. Nigerians are also wondering if he's going to include people like Wike, and is Tinubu going to be part of the people who will be going to the United States? I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video where Peter Obi was telling Tinubu to clear his name. In short, this video has gone viral since yesterday after this news of Nigerian government going to the US over the buying of Christians to go and discuss with Trump. You know, the Trump's government is about to designate Nigeria as a country of concern. And if that happens, it means that they might not have any relationship with Nigeria again in terms of security. They might not sell arms to Nigeria. It might even affect some security, security aid Nigeria gets from the United States. There are a lot of, problems that will come up if the United States should designate Nigeria as a country of concern. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this. There is another video that you are going to be watching. Just take your time, watch these videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.
And abroad in different parts of the world I've traveled recently. To the outsiders, the entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. The controversy is unnecessary, just as the implicit global embarrassment could have been avoided. In my opinion, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue anxiety. Even in this late in the day, however, Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu still owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. He should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service. In addition, if at any time he has had a change of name, he should state so clearly and circumstance that his name itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform. He must perform this task urgently in order to lay to rest, once and for the last time, the many lingering doubts and valid speculation about his true identity. A leader cannot outsource a clear, unambiguous personal statement about his identity to political surrogates, official spokespeople, lawyers, or any other person, no matter how highly placed. A matter of personal identity of a leader is too sensitive and central to the function of the office he currently occupies to be trifled with outsourced or disguised under the cloak of officialdom. It is about integrity, morality, values, and the rule of law that defines the character of a nation and its people. In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians, his true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy. In addition, the international community deserves to know the true identity of the person with whom they will engage on Nigeria. Having stood for an election of elevated office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Bola Tinubu have implicitly undertaken to cede the rights of private citizens in favor of life of open disclosure of his true identity and other circumstances that might be of public interest. His personal integrity demands no less. The legitimacy of the office he currently occupies demands that much and even more. Respect for the integrity and esteem of the Nigerian nation within the Committee of Nations makes it even more incumbent and compulsory. It is time to do the right thing. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
There's a Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, and I sent a letter here just recently, just a few days ago this week, to Secretary of State Marco Rubio to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. It's on my Twitter handle if you want to go look at it. Why is that important? If they're designated a country of particular concern, then they can no longer receive security assistance from the United States, which is a polite way of saying arms sales and training, which is currently underway right now with Nigeria. Now, why are we doing that? Because we want them to go out and fight Boko Haram. So Boko Haram and also IS, West Africa. Boko Haram's more associated with like an Al-Qaeda. IS, West Africa, is more like ISIS. And then you have a third group in there, the Fulani. So I'll kind of go through all of these. But Boko Haram is the prevalent one that's been around for a very long time, IS, West Africa. So the Muslim population of Nigeria mostly lives in the northern part of the country. The southern part of the country is where most of the Christians live. It's pretty close split 50-50. Then there's that middle band of the country where that's most of the killings are taking place. The Fulani are ones that's an ethnic group. Most of them farmers are the ones that are undertaking a lot of this indiscriminate killing. But just to give you a couple of examples that have been happening, just this year alone, there's been 7,000 Christians murdered. That's 35 a day.
Oh, my goodness.
Since 2009, 51,000 have been murdered. And so these folks are obviously Christian martyrs, in my opinion. In my view, they've been martyred for their faith. Amen. And it's a tragedy that's unfolding, and we're not doing anything about it. Now, to go back to that designation, why is that designation not there? President Trump put that designation on them, the country of particular concern, in his first term. And by doing that, it put the squeeze on the Nigerian government, which is run by a Muslim president and vice president right now. It put the squeeze on them to try to quell the killings in that country. And it did start to lessen the murders of Christians in Nigeria. The Biden administration took that designation off.
My goodness.
Why?
They took the designation off, and so I am
He's a devout Catholic, Libby.
Yeah.
Because he is a devout Catholic.
Yeah, speaking as a devout Catholic, I'd like to see that designation put back on. And just to be clear, this Christian population, they're not just Catholics. About a third is Catholic, third is Anglican, third is evangelical. So it kind of spans the gamut there. And this is a genocide that is happening there. And the United States needs to do something to tighten the screws on Nigeria. We have a lot of security assistance going on with them right now. and there's room for us to be able to turn up the volume or turn up the heat on them, so to speak, and hopefully stop this. It's continuing to escalate. They're kidnapping priests and murdering them. There was one they've had 200 priests in the last few years that have been kidnapped. They just had 54 people martyred on Palm Sunday, Ash Wednesday. They kidnapped and murdered a priest. That's just this year alone. And it's going to continue unless we do something. And that's why I'm urging Secretary of State Marco Rubio to redesignate them a country of particular concern. So that's kind of the lay of the land of what's happening there.
As the federal government continues to react to international condemnation of alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has cautioned against portraying Nigeria's security crisis along religious lines, insisting terrorists and bandits target citizens indiscriminately, regardless of faith. Akpabio issued the warning during Thursday's plenary while contributing to a motion on alleged religious persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Akpabio questioned how anyone could differentiate victims by religions after attacks, emphasizing that violence affects all Nigerians equally.
If you look at what is happening in the Southeast, predominantly Christians, most of those that are killed in the Southeast, including the late husband of our demised icon, Dora Akunyili, the way the man was shot dead and everything, will you come and ascribe that to religion? I'm talking about what IPOP is doing. You see brothers killing brothers. Okay, so the sit-at-home that is going on Mondays in the Southeast that has almost crippled the economy of the Southeast, is this targeted at Christians or Muslims? So Nigeria has complex security situations, and we should actually go out there and educate people, because the moment they bring sanctions to breed poverty. Poverty knows no religion. So for me, engagement will be the best. So when we go into executive session, we can decide to set up a small ad hoc committee to go to the United States of America and engage our colleague parliamentarians there. And then to also educate them. Because if you see what these people are doing, most of them are outsiders. When they come and start spraying bullets from GP, or what do you call it, or they throw rocket, they are not throwing rocket into the crowd targeting a particular religion. They are killing Nigerians. I don't know who will now go and sit down and bring out maybe the dead bodies and say, this one is a Christian, this one is from this family, this must be a Muslim. So we are facing a situation whereby these terrorists are trying to terminate the lives of Nigerians. No, I was about to look at your side, because I think a lot of heavalists have also been killed in the. Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? Okay.
All right. Every Nigerian life matters, including herbalists, according to Godswill Akpabio there. Now, that was Senate President Godswill Akpabio arguing that, framing terrorism as a conflict between Christians and Muslims is misleading and, only deepens divisions among Nigerians. The motion sparked intense debate on Thursday as lawmakers weighed national security narratives against reports of targeted attacks on religious communities across various states. Well, Akpabio's comments, however, have garnered several reactions on social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and of course, X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'll start with an X post. This person wrote, Nigerians have been killed, both Christians and Muslims. This is a fact. However, it is unnecessary to constitute a delegation that would travel to the US to tell the full story. It is just another means to misappropriate taxpayers' funds. The truth will be told one day. Imagine Rufai Ayo, they want to send a delegation to the United States of America.
Is that not what they do?
Yes. And let me take another post that this person wrote. Don't forget that this same Senate screened and cleared someone who forged his certificate to be minister. Let's hope that their US counterparts will not tell them what for What are you doing here? That's the question. Gradually, Nigeria will have external intervention since the internal ones have failed to yield results. And one of the comments Godswill Akpabio made about IPOB and the Southeast killing Nigerians, which also is a fact. And I'll take a reaction from Facebook. This person posted on Facebook saying, your opinion is acknowledged, but we have to set a boundary line between secessionists and jihadists. Once you know the root cause of this insecurity, you will realize the Christians suffering the crisis. Because, he also talked about the fact that, these terrorists, when they go out to bomb a community, do we go out to pick out the, find out whether they are Christians or Muslim being born. But you also know that the Christian Association of Nigeria has also debunked the federal government's claim about whether or not, Christians are being killed and all of that. I'd like your thoughts. Let me start with you, Ayo, since I started with you, Rufai, about Godswill Akpabio even trying to send a delegation to the United States to, sit with them and let them know what really is going on. Because it also touched on how sanctions would affect Nigeria eventually if this happens.
I think that's the most, what Nigerians are worried about the most.
Correct.
Because of the consequence of being listed as a country of particular concern. And this is the highest condemnation by the United States on countries that are seen to not tolerate or promote religious freedom. Nigeria was listed or designated in 2020, and we're removed from that list in 2021. And, like you mentioned, it can bring economic sanctions and some aids being pulled away from the country as a way to, serve as a measure to deter this. But let me talk about Senate President Akpabio, the uncommon senator, asking that he might put together a team of senators to go to America. For what exactly? Let the facts speak for themselves. Instead of spending Nigeria's hard-earned money and our resources to take our senators abroad, can we fix some of the challenges that he himself highlighted in trying to justify that it's not a religious targeted attack? He talked about issues around people being killed, citing the example of Professor Doyo Akinyele's husband, very unfortunate one there. He talked about what happens in the Middle East and people being bombed. He talked about IPOB seats at home. These are real issues of concern, of security, whether or not they are religiously motivated. Can we sit down in our country and fix those issues rather than becoming a laughing stock in the world? And so a better solution would be for the Senate to come together and prefer or take a deep action, a specific action against violence and acts of terrorism in Nigeria against any Nigerian citizen. I think it's quite a shame as well, Oji, that it took the American Congress speaking about this, or people, whether it be the report that was done, to highlight how bad the security situation in Nigeria before we all begin to talk about trying to save the image of Nigeria and trying to talk about these issues when we already know that we have a problem in security in the nation. Please don't spend taxpayers' money going abroad. Let us fix the issues here and the facts will speak for themselves.
Well said, Ayo. Rufai, before I come to you, I'll take this so eventually you tie both together. Well, in Abuja, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu posthumously granted pardons to two historical figures, the father of Nigerian nationalism, Herbert Macaulay, and former FCT minister, Major General Mamman Vasta, as part of a list of 175 people endorsed by the National Council of State on Thursday. Herbert Macaulay, despite his iconic status, was twice convicted by colonial authorities in 1913 and in 1928, while General Mamman Vasta was sentenced to death in 1986 by a secret military tribunal for an alleged coup plot against his friend, then President Ibrahim Babangida. Of the total pardons, 82 inmates received full pardons, 65 had reduced sentences, and 7 death row sentences were commuted to life in prison, actions which Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani noted underscore the president's commitment to prison reform and justice. Rufai, over to you, and we are seeing that the president is really committed even to just all of these pardons and the awards that he has given only recently. He gave the Ogoni 9 as well as, Ken Saro-Wiwa as well as also the Kaduna General. We are seeing that the president is committed also to prison reforms, like Uba Sani has said. And I'll come and sit with you so we can all discuss.
Okay. I think that's right on point. And the truth has to be said. I think it's right on point, you know, to be able to give our national founding father, Herbert Macaulay, that kind of honor of pardon. But anyway, what he was being pardoned for is a dead law. Sedition is a dead law already. It doesn't exist again. I mean, it's pretty much the level of activism Herbert Macaulay did back in the days, and we all know what he did in the media space and the activism space and all of that. But the question is, and that's why we say it's even good to teach history, because how many of the youngsters today even know history? I had the opportunity once to actually go to the school Herbert Macaulay attended in the UK. It's not the University of Plymouth. You know, yes, that was then. It was a polytechnic where he attended. Nationalist, you know, the Wizard of Kerstin Hall, as it was famously called, fought for, you know, the independence of this country. You know, was one of the first rebellious forces against the British. You know, when the British had problems with Eshuba Yeleko, you know, the King of Lagos then, as regards, you know, water taxes and things like that, and he stood firm. And films have been made about Herbert Macaulay, but we don't tell the story enough. And Mamad Vatsa, we all know the tale, poet par excellence. I think Mamad Vatsa used to be a member of ANA, and the allegations of coup plot in Ibrahim Babangida's regime. But Babangida did write a lot about Mamad Vatsa and, you know, what transpired around that period in his book. And the Ogunina, I mean, Kenzari, well, you cannot, you know, forget that, and some other people involved in that. I mean, and I think, in all fairness to Tinubu, President Tinubu, he's tried to rewrite history and right some wrongs, you know, especially around the Ogoni land and Ogoni area. You see, Oji, the other day, you see, when I talk sometimes, when people say, Rufai, you are not this, you are that, I'm sorry to say this. In the end, I always win the argument. You had somebody here on Sunday that was telling you that Nigeria is an independent sovereign nation, that we should not go talk to America and everything. Yeah. And I was making the point that America, that last year, 2024, you collected $784 million in aid, close to $1 billion in aid for. So you are saying that they can talk whatever they want. No. They rule the affairs of things because you collect their aid. Absolutely. Any man you collect money from, you are subject to that man. As long as you are collecting aid from the EU, forget it. Most of the, what's it called, training for the electoral body, electoral NGOs, it's not the EU that is funding it. The EU. So these people will still have one, and that's why now our politicians have woken up to reality to say we should go and beg. You see, as regards that, let me now make the point. There's a movement of right-wing Christian nationalism going on in America, where they skew a lot of narratives around Christian nationalism and they look for pressure points to be able to push it. In fact, Open Door, the same agency that released the report that the likes of Bill Maher and Ted Cruz are now quoting, has been known to be in the vanguard of this. But it doesn't make it necessarily true. So what you do in this regard, and I will be shell-shocked that if Nigeria that collects a lot of aid does not have some level of lobbying that goes on in America, you don't need to send a contingent there. It's lobbyists that will do the work. I mean,
but they can have a virtual meeting.
They can have a virtual meeting.
But all of that will be arranged by lobbying.
Yes.
So anything you are going to do there, just they're not going to enjoy extra code and free hotel money. So it's lobbying that will now take over. But secondly, isn't it the shame on our country and our leadership that the Senate president is saying everybody suffers attack? Yes, we know. But you are the Senate president. You've not moved the motion that the president must solve the problem of insecurity once and for all. Isn't it a shame that even when it happens, it takes time before they even react? We had to be the one here to be shouting before President Tinubu went to Benue. When it happened in Jos, they didn't go. In fact, I heard that the police IG that went to Jos, he didn't even reach where the thing happened. He just went to the capital of Plateau.
You remember that the president actually challenged him there?
Yes.
What is the problem?
Look, it is a shame that all this while, something has confounded us for all this while, and insecurity has continued to grow and grow and grow in our country.
At the end of the day,
and we call ourselves the giant of Africa. We churn out millions of barrels per day. We have Nobel laureates. We have so much intellectual people, but we can't solve our own insecurity problems. We still depend largely on aid by the Americans, and we say nobody can challenge our sovereignty. We are sovereignty for mouth as long as they are collecting aid money from those people.
I think the beginning of the solution
so let's wake up
to this insecurity terrorist act is when we see that our security forces are coming out with records of the people that they have killed. The people, the terrorists that name them. We want to see people that have been perpetrating this crime on a daily basis. Yes, kudos to the security forces, the military, DSS, but we need to see more of these people that have been perpetrating this crime on Nigerians. Well, still in Abuja. Angry retired police officers took to the National Assembly complex on Thursday to block all the entrances and exits to the premises in protest over what they described as years of neglect and injustice. According to the former members of the police force, the Nigerian government have refused to pay their pension and gratitudes and have abandoned the families of officers who have passed away and served their country faithfully. Activist Omoyele Sowore accompanied the retired police officers, demanding that the contributory pension scheme be scrapped. Let's take a look.
Police life matters.
Police life matters.
Police life matters.
Police life matters. No to Yahoo pension scheme. No to Ponzi. No to Ponzi pension scheme. The CPS is actually contributory Ponzi scheme. That's what it means. It's not any contributing police. It's Ponzi scheme. It's Ponzi. Because the people who are managing it are getting paid more than the people they take it from. That is fraud. Absolute fraud. You cannot take from people who have money, invest it, and get paid better salary than they get paid. It is not done anywhere in the world. That is why the CPS must be shut down. And yes, it must be shut down. Completely. Police must have the same kind of pension scheme as soldiers.
Omoyele Sowore has been on this matter for a while. He called it contributory Ponzi scheme. Well, this week's protest is one of many that have taken place involving retired police officers at the National Assembly. Earlier in the week on Tuesday, a number of wives of retired officers joined their spouses to protest at the National Assembly, calling out the hardship and humiliation they have endured. Well, in a welcoming development, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has just signed into law the Nigeria Police Training Institutions Establishment Bill, which translates to the creation of 48 training institutes for Nigeria's police force across the country. The goal is to institutionalize police education, promote professional development, and modernize the force to bring it up to speed with global best practices. The institutions will be spread across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones and categorized into 5 main groups, including police colleges, training technical and tactical schools, and other specialized institutions. Analysts say this could be one of the most transformative policing policies in recent years as the force leans into a technology and people-driven mandate. Kudos for this bill. I mean, this bill has been on the table, I believe, since 2019. It's good that, the president has signed it into law. But I think that the most important thing is what these retired police officers have been, pushing for, which is they want their money to be paid directly. They don't want to do this contributory pension scheme. I know it is difficult. I know we've talked about this for a while. But we cannot have people that have served our country faithfully out there protesting, crying that they want better treatment. Ayo.
While you're in service, problem.
Yes.
You finish, you retire, problem. This is the plight of the average policeman here in Nigeria. And this is why for years they've been making calls and concerted efforts to ensure that, like the military, the DSS, the NIA, who are no longer a part of the contributory pension scheme, they also have their own dedicated pension scheme under the Police Pension Board. There are many arguments, and we've had this talk around why, the CPS doesn't serve them. It's part of the Pensions Reform Act of 2004, which was repealed and made into the Pensions Reform Act of 2014. And, contributory pension scheme is where the employer and employee contribute to pension, and then the money is invested and given at such a time when you retire. But there have been a number of complaints that have trailed this, and perhaps that's why the military, DSS, NIA are not a part of this, to ensure that their own pension scheme is properly managed. And so they make a good and a legitimate cry that police officers are languishing, especially those who are retired. Also on the 7th of August, the president ordered the immediate payment of retirees who are low-income earners and free healthcare for them. So he has made efforts as well in his own way to ensure the welfare and benefits of police officers. But these men have come out, and women have come out to say that it's not near enough. They've been making this call for a very long time. I think it's time that the president himself looked into this. Take on board their concerns and actually address them. It doesn't also give a good signal to to officers currently in service, because you'd work this hard for so long, money is taken out of your account every month saying that it's part of your contributory pension scheme, and then at the end of the day you have almost nothing to show for it. It's not encouraging, and that's why when we keep accusing the police of being corrupt in some quarters, we also need to understand the plight of the police and speak up for their welfare. And this is part of what the young people were fighting for during NSAS. It wasn't just about, they were also asking for police reform. Absolutely. It is high time we had police reform here in Nigeria so that we have a better welfare for our police officers. These are the people that you arm and ask to go to the streets to protect lives and property, and you're not treating them well. It is not a good thing for the Nigerian citizens. We're put in the care of people who are angry, who are upset, and who are not treated fairly. It is unfair and has to stop.
Thank you. You know I'm a Molopa.
Yes. After you sweat and slave, you'll be going to beg for pension. It's not fair.
For that. Well said, Ayo. Very well said. Let's take the story now from Enugu State, where students of the Faculty of Health Sciences and Technology at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus trooped out on Monday in protest against a compulsory 30,000 development levy imposed by the faculty. The protesters blocked the university entrance, chanting, "We no go pay," and carrying placards describing the charge as daylight extortion. The students accused the faculty dean, Professor Ijeoma Okoronkwo, of introducing the levy and alleged affected students were barred from writing exams, which triggered the demonstrations. Let's take a look.
So every single one of us, we are currently marching to Dean's office, all of us, elite nurses, 027. You can see also, we came to write the exam this morning, and then they said that we will not write this exam because of 30K developmental fee that's already in our school fees after we paid. So you can see also, all of us, we are here. We are marching to Dean's office now to tell him that we came to write the exam, and then they are preventing us from writing.
Well, this comes as the Students' Union at the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Ephraim Delta State, say their school is still closed right now after protests over an alleged tuition hike, and despite the union's request to open the school, there are no known plans to do so. Students have also demanded that the institution presents the fees for the upcoming year. I mean, Rufai, we're seeing our students here saying, this tuition hike is coming at a very wrong time. I mean, your thoughts on both stories together?
Audrey, this tuition fee is coming at a time where you've devalued the lives of people. You've devalued their currency. Their currency is worth nothing. They're dealing with over 20%, about 20% inflation. So 30,000 naira, that's close to half of the minimum wage. How are they going to be able to pay that? That conversation also segues around FUPRI. So they will rebel. You say they should go and take student leave. If they take student leave, that's another debt for them until they start working. You're talking about the police. The problem is not about pension. The problem is how much the police officers are earning. Oji, the IG of police in this country, I'm not sure it earns up to 1.52 million naira a month as his basic salary. So if the IG earns 1.5 or 2 million, peradventure, I'm not sure he earns up to that. If he earns up to 1.52 million, and you remove how many percent? 7% contribution. Calculate 7% over here. Even if he works for 30, and he can't be IG, he can't be IG for more than 2-3 years. He's been working all these years. If you accumulate that money, the IG, if he's to go by what he's earning, he will suffer in retirement.
Right.
But you see, the truth has to be said. It is the amount they're paying them that is the problem. It is the fact that we live in a low-wage society and we have low disposable income occasioned by high inflation, food cost and the likes. About 40% of your spendings are already taken by food, minus rent if you live in urban areas. So it's an economic malaise.
Right.
This is just a symptom.
Right.
More will happen.
Yeah. Well, protests are great. I mean, this is why we are bringing these stories out here for the advocacy. The school in Delta, the school in Nsukka would like for them to come together and, help those students out. We need our students to go to school. Now to our milestone. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has paid tribute to one of Nigeria's most distinguished public servants, Dr. Christopher Kolade, who passed away at the age of 92. Dr. Christopher was born on December 28, 1932. In a statement from the State House, President Tinubu described Dr. Kolade as one of Nigeria's intellectual treasures, a man who was exceptionally brilliant, statesmanly, and possessed unimpeachable integrity. Dr. Kolade's legacy extends far beyond words, from Director General of the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation to Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, from Chief Executive and Chairman of Cadbury Nigeria PLC to principal figure at the Lagos Business School. Dr. Kolade left what the president called ineffaceable stamps of distinction in every role.
So guys, this was the moment Charlie Boy posted on Twitter. He said, if you think Peter Obi is a weak man, think again, because this man is fearless. It takes a man without any stain to be this bold and direct. The gloves are off. No more gentleman politics. Or you tell me the lie in this statement to fear our criminals. So this is Peter Obi's video demanding that Tinubu comes and clarify himself on identity theft. So you could see this might be the reason why Tinubu going to the US might be a challenge. I don't think Tinubu will ever meet Donald Trump. I don't think. And now that the United States is about to designate Nigeria as a country of concern, it means that they are not going to be selling some weapons to Nigeria, no security relationship and all that. It's really going to be a hot blow. No wonder Akpabio is wanting to send delegation to the United States, possibly to go and convince Trump and tell him that there's no genocide going on in Nigeria. But see, we are living in a world where internet spread all these things. All the buying in jaws, some of them that were filmed, for the fact that the real incidents when these attackers came in was not filmed or were not filmed. We now saw the reactions of people that woke up in the morning only to see that their houses have been burnt, children were burnt and all that. Human beings turned charcoal. So guys, a whole lot is happening. Anybody who is saying that Christians are not being buyed in Nigeria is making a very big mistake, because who knows, this is the only avenue to save the country. This is the only avenue to make Tinubu to rethink his security plans for Nigeria. This is the only way the government can sit up. Just tell me one thing Tinubu has done to curb insecurity in Nigeria. Just one step. What is it? There is nothing. You can't see any clear path on where Tinubu is now, where he started, where he's going to. In terms of security, you can't see anything. And when America is crying out that, see, Christians are being bad in Nigeria, they are telling us, even Buala Dane has been on Twitter saying there's no genocide in Nigeria, trying to rubbish Ted Cruz's name. Anyway, even Khan has now finally come out to say that Christians are being bad. Initially, they wanted to be silent because they want to be the favorite of the government. But now many of them are speaking up that saying actually Christians are being bad in Nigeria. Let's quickly take a look at some of the reactions after Peter Obi's video demanding that Tinubu come out clean and, tell Nigerians why he is who he is today that is not clear to Nigerians. Tinubu identity theft might be a risk for him, his second term. This reaction says, Tinubu represents a terrible image that affects Nigeria negatively as a nation. He should set a good example to save Nigeria from falling so that Nigeria can attract foreign investors. But some idiots are blindfoldingly supporting the disaster called Tinubu for their selfishness. Can you see it? Now, this person is Bola Ahmed Kurubu. So, Nigerians are reacting that Tinubu's image is going to damage the country. We all know this has been there, but this is coming as a result of the Senate trying to go to the US to go convince them that there's no genocide happening in Nigeria. And that's why these videos are now circulating. If Tinubu cannot conclusively address the ongoing question regarding his background and personal history, authorities, including the DSS, should investigate allegation of fraud and forgery to ensure transparency and accountability. Are you sure the DSS has that lever? Hey, more trouble for Tinubu. Boom, boom. Batty just go cry. The world knows he's a crook, drug dealer, certificate forger, and identity thief. Wonder why Trump did not congratulate him and he was avoiding USA. even with his presidential immunity. He now posted something here that says in 1993, Bola Ahmed Tinubu surrendered 460,000 to the U.S. government after a Chicago court found the income came from heroin trafficking. This is bad, honestly, for a sitting president. It's really bad. What is he saying? He's damaging our image with this nonsense. He can't even read from a prepared speech. Let me read more. This other reaction here says, I thought I was the only one who believed that Tinubu is not a citizen of Nigeria. Obi too feel the same. How can someone claim to be a citizen of a country? No one knows his father or mother. No one knows his uncle, brother or sister, his place of birth or primary school unknown. Another person said, do you still think that Nigeria need a man that had BAc in philosophy to rule a country complex like us? Success has a pattern. And then this person here says, to be honest, I think Mr. Obi is right on this. The president should set a good example. The community of nations does not take Nigerians seriously because of the image of our leaders. Even if this video is old, according to his slaves, it's still very relevant. A man holding the highest office in the land with his questionable background is, even if this video is old, according to his slaves, it's very relevant today. A man holding the highest office in the land with a questionable background is a major stain on Nigeria's image. Anywhere in the world, some may applaud in front of him, but they snare him behind. They snare behind him. This other person say, how can you want to be a leader and can't even read eloquently? How was possible? Is it even to elect a governor in the first place? Okay, your own problem is reading. Nigerians. This other person is a Charlie Boy area father. You are absolutely right on all four. With regards to the demeanor of Peter Obi and stainlessness, a banner without stain, that's corruption. That corruption politicians are afraid of being president of Nigeria. Do you largely maintain the status quo? This person said, this person's tweet is not that clear. I'm just trying to see if I'll see some relevant tweets that this person say, ever since they replaced your name on the street of Olamide, you've been losing your mind, posting lies, crying online, embarrassing yourself daily. That name change, you really shattered your mental balance. Another person here said, bros, Abaya, just don't cry when Tinubu retaliates. So, went to area father turned to area madman. Can you imagine? These are Tinubu's boys, you know. Why is this man not talking about nnamdi Kanu's release? Instead, he's speaking grammar, and some people who thought they have made it in Nigeria will be clapping for him. Charlie Boy, in a bid to paint to be as fearless critic of Tinubu, shared an old video. Tried to pass it off as recent. This habit is recycling old clip to feed a narrative is dishonest. This video is totally relevant. It's not even an old video, you know. This is a video for last election. It's very relevant today. In Nigeria, humility is frequently mistaken for weakness, yet it's understandable. It takes deep resilience and a firm principle to go through the Nigerian experience without it leaving marks on your character. This person said, we here, fetch water and drink. Obi lacks attribute of a president. One with a back and forward view is always perceived as a weak leader. Okay, Peter Obi is a weak leader. Yeah, he's the kind of person we need. Look at the useless common trader. You are a bigger fool because nobody sees me in the light as a Nigerian. Look at this useless common trader. Peter Obi is a useless area father. See 70-year-old man with 5-year-old mentality. All he knows is to get naked and snap photo. You don't pay your landlady and house rent you owe. Another person says, Yorubas are too docile and tolerant. These animals can't try this with the not ever. They won't dare it. They want Yoruba down by all means. We are too nice to this ingrate. You're too nice. I am. Go and flush them out. Can you imagine? He even tagged by your nonoga. Tagged what's his name? Sunday Derry, and tagged so many people he tagged here, about 4 of them from the Tinubu's camp. A good and transparent leader must appear to be accountable, lucid, and above all, of utmost integrity, her constituent at all times. This is the message Peter Obi seems to be sending Tinubu, Nigeria's current leader, which is on spot. Now, this other person said, honestly, no politician from the south, east, or west today has the balls to say these things. Nobody. Only Peter Obi can say it. Yes, this is it. This is exactly what the obedience need. It will no longer be business as usual for APC at all levels in the state. If they ever think 2027 will be easy, right for them, the better wake up, because for every of their plan moves, they will encounter 3 times of it. This person said, is this not same you that stole a child's picture and said he's nnamdi Kanu's son? How do you feel disgracing your children and grandchildren on the internet with this behavior, old man child? So guys, this is it. Peter Obi's new video, video is now circulating after the federal government plan to go to the United States on this genocide of a thing that Christians are being plied. Akpabio is setting up a delegation to go to the United States, but guess what? It is not going to work because the news is all over the places. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.